Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The Midday News is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We are on Love 99.5 FM. We are also live in all 16 regions of Ghana on a number of affiliates across the regions. We are on Volta Premier in Ho, A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga, Radio Max in Takrade. We are on Jubilee Radio in Keta. We are live on X Spaces. We are on Facebook. You are on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Soul, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Soul is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duroplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator where Duroplus goes, water flows. This afternoon, as the PRC's order to ECG to publish a load management timetable near its expiration, a member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament is casting doubt on ECG's compliance. We'll hear why.
For the big Muhammad to behave the way he's behaving, it's because he's backed by very powerful people. Because he's backed by everybody, anybody can go to hell for all he can.
Meanwhile, some Ghanaians are unhappy with the response of the Energy Minister on the current state of electricity supply in the country.
What is the minister saying? What do they take us for? Bring us a timetable so that we know how to plan our lives.
We'll get to hear the latest explanation from the Energy Ministry this afternoon. Also, Fair Wages, National Labour Commission, and striking teachers in a make or break meeting to resolve the one-week-old action over stalled negotiation of conditions of service.
That we should have a country where our teachers do not respect the laws of this country, where you have gone on strike with a reverend minister leading it.
Engineer, are you the Director General for GES?
The teachers insist only a firm commitment from government will get them to rescind their decision.
Whatever we are drumming hope for, if we don't get it,
here to attack me.
no teacher will go back to school. No teacher will go back to school. We are sick and tired of this kind of games.
We have details of that. Also, open defecation and dumping of garbage on a piece of land between the Independence Square and the Asumdwe Park continue unabated as authorities seem helpless in dealing with the situation.
Many people have been doing that.
Why were you defecating?
Defecating here, if you are defecating here, those who are living around here, they will not call it to be a crime because it's a lowland.
We have details as the Joy News team confronts another man at the VIP Open Defecation Sports. That's coming up in today's edition of Filth Exhibition. We have sports.
The Black Stars aim to bounce back after Nigeria setback as they come up against Uganda in an international friendly.
And from Tamale to Kumasi, the Joy News Ghana Connect Town Hall train makes a stop at the Garden City today as we engage residents ahead of the 2024 election. And later in the bulletin for our Ghana Man series, we focus on the energetic dance with many meanings, the Agbaja dance. That and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu, and this is your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Please do stay on for details. Many thanks for your company. Let's dig in now. And member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Edward Bauer, says he does not expect the Electricity Company of Ghana to comply with the directive of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, on a set of demands. Per the PRC orders, the ECG has until the close of day tomorrow, March 27, to publish a load management timetable, among other demands. Joy News is learning the first order for demanding the ECG pay all power producers under the water cash flow mechanism that expired yesterday has yet to be met. Edward Bauer tells Joy News the management of ECG has shown total disrespect to Parliament and Ghanaians on the issues.
In terms of your current transformers, give us the ratings. You see, the ratings of every transformer gives you the maximum amount of electricity it can consume without the temperature going above what is required.
Mr. Bauer, these questions that you are asking, this aspect of the directive that came from the PRC, the time for ECG to respond will expire on Wednesday. But I also do understand that the Mines and Energy Committee met with the management of ECG on some of these matters. And you were saying that you didn't...
I'll tell you that ECG refused to appear.
They didn't appear before the committee.
I said, on my wall, I said that just in line with how this government operates, ECG had the arrogance and the temerity to look in the face of Parliament and refuse to come.
And you did nothing about it.
Of arrogance.
And you did nothing about it.
we as a minority, we have made our case. But it just happened. If you recall, it was on Tuesday, then on Wednesday we rose. So some of us have said that when we come back to Parliament, we are going to cite it for contempt. You see, you do not look in the face of the representatives of the people and say, to hell with you for all I care. And the reason is because for Mr. Mahama to do what he is doing, for Big Mahama to behave the way he is behaving, is because he is backed by very powerful people. Because he is backed by everybody, anybody can go to hell for all he cares.
ECG, PRC, all work for the sole shareholder, the government of the Republic of Ghana. Where do you see this ending?
Where I see this ending is that we will, I don't know whether that's an end or not. We will continuously, you will call me again tomorrow afternoon, you call me tomorrow next again, and we'll be talking like this until that kingdom come.
That's a member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, Edward Bauer, there speaking to Elton Brobe on the Pulse on the Joy News channel. Well, the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh himself, does not also support the release of a load shedding timetable. He spoke to my colleague Nana Boache Dankwa Yadom in Kumasi.
You do admit that there's doom so.
That is the word you used. I have never used that word. I've promised you that we are going to work on it. And it's not a work that is a single event. It's a process. And we'll continue to work on it for the energy sector to become better.
Have you heard of calls for a timetable?
Ask those who want it to bring it. If there is, I haven't seen any timetable. So when
people are calling for it.
Say bring a timetable. What do you mean? The ECG says that there's no timetable coming. Why do you want to bring a timetable? One purpose. Why would somebody get up and wish evil or bad for the country? When it is not planned, you can't tell the person.
Well, his comments have been condemned by a section of Ghanaians who called into the Super Morning Show today.
I live in Kaswa. We've had intermittent light off, we are connected to generator and the generator is out of fuel. What is the minister saying? What do they take us for? Bring us a timetable so that we know how to plan our life, so that we know when we have life and when we don't have life, so that at least life will be some. I'm really frustrated this morning. Yesterday, the lights were on throughout the day. Sometime in around, 6, the light went off. Within a few seconds, it blinked and came back. And then they took it again. Within about 3 hours, they brought it back. And you say you are not scheduling light?
If I were the president by now, I'd fire him. But African ministers and their presidents, they think they are monarch.
Those who, in their own sense, can still go and queue and say they are voting for these people. That is my worry.
Some callers onto the Super Morning Show today. Well, the Energy Ministry has a response to the growing discontent with the minister's statement. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio with more. So what exactly is the explanation from the ministry?
They say that the Ministry of Energy has taken notice of the spin around an interview granted Joy News by the Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh, on the margins of the inauguration of the new Patriotic Party Ashanti Regional Campaign team. They said the rather innocuous statement of the minister, as captured by the interview, have been distorted to portray him as being insensitive to the plight of Ghanaians and thus wish to avert the minds of Ghanaians to the context of the interview and clarify as follows. It says the minister dismissed the need for a load management timetable because, in his view, as indicated by the ECG, the causes of the temporary power challenges are being addressed. The minister in the clip said, address the issue is not an event, which is rightly so. And he goes on to say the minister comparison of the current energy sector to the one under John Mahama, where Ghanaians reeled under pervasive use of 4 years, comes on the back of recent similar calls in the media by the NDC flag bearer for a load management timetable. This call, in the view of the minister, is born out of the quest to score cheap political points. In fact, a careful listen of the interview will show that the comparative template was set by the interview. And finally, the minister wishes to assure the public that the ministry, as the policymaker and mother agency of the various power sector actors, is working assiduously with these agencies to ensure that the temporary challenges are resolved. Emefa.
Okay, well, that's Elton Brobe with portions of that particular statement. Thankfully, spokesperson for the ministry, Kofi Abrifafina, joins us on the line. He signed this particular statement. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. So I'm reading portions of the statement, and point 3, for instance, you said in the set clip, the minister is clearly seen straining his voice because of the obviously noisy background in order to be heard by his interviewer. This has unfortunately been misconstrued. Dr. Prempeh is known to be a very media-friendly person. So really, tell me how his statements were misconstrued.
Good afternoon, Emefa. It is not true that Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh has been insensitive to the plight of the Ghanaian people. I've seen portions of the video circulating on social media to the effect that he was even harsh in his outburst. That was never true. That is why I provided context by saying that he was in a noisy background, and so he was trying to make his interviewer hear him. But what's the crux of his argument? His argument is that there's no point for a load shedding timetable at this point, because as rightly indicated by the ECG, the matters are being resolved. So it is quite premature for anybody to say that we should come out with a load management timetable. And if you listen to the interview, Emefa, your colleague was the one who set the comparative template, which made the minister compare what is happening right now to that of the 4-year do so under President John Mahama.
Before we get to that, Kofi, please engage me. Before we get to this particular point you're about to make, the part about being misconstrued is what I would want you to clarify. If the minister tells my colleague that those who are asking for the load shedding timetable should produce it, what did he mean by that?
I think that all of these things is situated in a context. I mean, former President John Mahama recently had said that we should come out with a load management timetable.
I don't see how former President John Mahama comes into this. Please, just give me the direct response to this.
No, Emefa,
how is it misconstrued?
I'm also trying to let you understand the context within which the minister spoke. So if the former president, who has been president before, under whose watch we had Doomso for 4 years, is saying that we should come out with a load management timetable on the back of temporary challenges, then the minister is likely to go that route.
But are you aware, Kofi, that the PURC, as we speak, has directed the ECG to come out with a load management timetable? Are you aware?
Emefa, that is for the ECG to speak to. I am speaking to you on the background and within the context within which the minister spoke. And so the minister, for people to say that the minister is insensitive to the plight of Ghanaians, that is where we are trying to, clarify the issues. Because this is the same minister who, on the back of Doom CSA, came to tell the people that this is what we are doing. We shut it down and then we maintain it, and then when it is on, we bring it back.
And so as we speak,
who has shown ab initio that he very much cares about the plight of the Ghanaian people. So for a single interview to be misconstrued, to portray him as being insensitive, that is what we are trying to avert the mind of Ghanaians.
So is the sensitive minister still staying or sticking to the point that there's no need for a load shedding timetable, considering the power situation that we are faced with?
I don't have any brief to the effect that anything has changed.
As we speak, just before I came to work, there was no light. Last night, we slept in the darkness as well. So we're wondering, really, what is happening?
Emefa, I mean, all of us are at a point where we have a consensus as to the current challenge. And for me, that is the principle, that the minister appreciates that there's a challenge that needs to be addressed. And that's the reason why he said it is not an event. It is being addressed. It is being solved.
Okay. So, well, Kofi, before we wrap up, Kofi,
that it is being solved. I mean, for anybody to say that there should be a load management timetable, that is what the minister holds a different view about.
Okay, so there's nothing about that interview that the minister would want to apologize to Ghanaians for. He sticks to everything he said in that interview.
Emefa, my work this afternoon is to clarify to you the statement of the minister on the sidelines of the New Patriotic Party's program. And for me, I think that the Ghanaian people must be told that the minister never meant harm. There was no malice intended. And as a matter of fact, he still remains the energy minister in the driving seat to collaborate with the various stakeholders to ensure the power stability for the Ghanaian people.
That spokesperson for the Ministry of Energy, Kofi Abrifa Afinade. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, says the economy continues to improve despite the challenges with the cedi depreciation. He's been addressing the media.
The exchange rate has witnessed some pressures in the last few weeks, due mainly to the strengthening of the US dollar against major trading currencies across the world. Additionally, payments made for energy and corporate sectors, compounded by the delays with the disbursement of the second tranche of the COCO loan and the World Bank Development Policy Operation, have placed further pressures on the cedi. According to the Bank of Ghana, these pressures have been mitigated somewhat by the continued inflows from remittances and mining companies and from the domestic gold purchase program. To further stabilize the currency, we are expecting a total disbursement of about 1.2 billion United States dollars from our development partners, namely the IMF, the World Bank, and the African Development Bank. And this we expect to be disbursed before the end of this year, 2024. Additional planned disbursements from ongoing projects will support our growth intervention.
That's Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam. Now, the Fair Wages, the National Labour Commission and the striking teacher unions are currently in a meeting to resolve demands of teachers. NAT, NAGRAT and the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, CCTGH, have been on strike over stalled discussion on their expired conditions of service, the freezing of some of their salaries by the special prosecutor and the non-distribution of laptops to over 100,000 teachers. Ahead of the meeting, the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ben Arthur, questioned the motive for the strike.
The question that I want to ask, which is missing from all your argument, is that our teachers, whatever their grievances above the laws of this country, do you think that we should have a country where our teachers do not respect the laws of this country? What type of country do you want to live in? What do you want to teach our kids? Where you have gone on strike with a reverend minister leading it, at the end of the day, you have failed to comply with the labor laws of this country. You've declared the strike, but there are procedures, there are provisions as to what must happen before you can really embark on a strike. You failed to notify the employer. Fair wages was not in the known. What was statutory of you notifying the National Labour Commission was also not done.
That's the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission boss on PM Express. Well, President of the Ghana National Association of Teachers was on the same show, Reverend Isaac Owusu, when he's emphatic that until their demands are met, they will not call off the action.
Unions have raised 5 solid issues. And each of the issues are very, very, very important and dear to the teacher we are representing. The issue concerning the laptop, the contract says that within 12 calendar months, from January 2021 to December 2021, the supplier should have finished the distribution. And we are in 2024. More than 100,000 teachers have not received the laptop. And what is engineer talking about? The collective agreement. Look, before the 2021 that we signed, we were having 2009 collective agreement. And we used a travel from 2009 to the year 2020. I want engineer to understand that, yes, you were under the Ministry of Labour, Employment and what have you, but you are not the employer of the teacher.
Well, meanwhile, final year junior high school students lament the impact of the ongoing strike on BEC performance. Some pupils in the Ashanti region have resorted to self-learning amidst the ongoing industrial action. Anita Sewa Ajoga filed this report.
Academic activities in various basic schools have halted due to the ongoing strike by pre-tertiary teacher unions. The strike declared by the teacher unions is centered on grievances related to their conditions of service and other pertinent issues. Some final year students of the State Experimental Basic School lament the strike will affect their performance in their upcoming BECE.
Yes, we are going to write exam next week. But the teachers are not coming to school, so it's going to affect us. We are not going to get good grades because they are not coming to school to teach us what we are supposed to learn. And they are also telling us that the questions will be plenty.
That's Anita Sewa Ajigan's report. In a related development, the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Ghana is this afternoon also holding a crunch meeting to determine whether or not to reduce the cost of foreign verification fees for nurses and midwives in the country. We know that government announced a new cost of foreign verification from an initial 550 Ghana cedis to a staggering 3,000 Ghana cedis, representing a 445% increment. Well, my colleague Emmanuel Brightquick, who is monitoring that meeting for us and joins us on the line. Emmanuel, what have we been able to pick up?
All right, so Emefa, as it stands,
now, the meeting is currently ongoing. The NMC is meeting, and also the Ghana Registered Midwives Nurses Association are also meeting. And I must add that the nurses across the country are still draped in red. And this is because they have a report of their intended actions. That is draping also their imminent strike action. So after the meeting, they will review the cost of foreign verification fee. If it's unable to meet their preferred amount, they will hold meeting that's tomorrow, a major press conference, to also announce their next line of action.
That's my colleague Emmanuel Bright Kweku, and 1,000 apologies for the poor quality there. Now, the Volta River Authority is reviewing its actions and inaction together with other stakeholders to determine the effectiveness of how the flood disaster that followed the spillage of their Konsonbo Dam was managed. An estimated 36,000 Ghanaians were displaced following the spillage. We can hear from the Deputy Chief Executive of VRA in charge of engineering and operations, Edward Obinkenzo.
We must be willing to acknowledge both our successes and our shortcomings, as this is the only way we can truly learn and grow from the experience. One key aspect of this after-action review is to examine the effectiveness of our emergency response protocols.
Well, my colleague Carlos Caloni is at the Best Care Hotel in Bator, where the 3-day review is taking place. He joins us on the line with more. Carlos, what more can you report?
Well, Emefa, Sergi Saji, who is NADMO Deputy Director, has also been speaking, and to him, an after-action review is required after such a huge disaster. And to him, 3 days, this particular review is being done in conjunction with other stakeholders to be able to establish a blueprint for how future disasters would be managed.
This is an after-action review of the response actions to the Akosombo spillage disaster. Normally, in every disaster management situation, you do preparedness, you do response, you do recovery, then you review your actions and document what you have done rightly, what are the challenges, and what are the steps taken to deal with the challenge, so that in the event that we have such a situation again or other similar situations, you have a blueprint that you can follow. So you have all your response agencies here.
That's a Deputy NADMO Coordinator there, Sergi Saji Amedonu, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra, and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. We're on a number of affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. The Midday News is made possible by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol is always a delightful experience. Also made possible by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with the level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. We return from the break with sports, and from Tamale to Kumasi, the Joy News Ghana Connect Town Hall train makes a stop at the Garden City today as we engage residents ahead of the 2024 election, and later we focus on the energetic dance with many meanings, the Agbaja dance.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Dive into a new era of news consumption with myjoyonline.com, your go-to destination for cutting-edge journalism, giving you the most credible stories from business to politics and from sports to entertainment. Myjoyonline.com introduces an upgraded news website meticulously designed to empower you with an enriched browsing experience like never before. Experience the future of news browsing with myjoyonline.com.
Thanks for staying with us. Let's do sports. Mubarak.
Yes, Emefa. So later today at 4 p.m., Ghana will face Uganda in their second international friendly as part of preparations for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers in June. The Black Stars lost 2-1 to Nigeria in their first encounter and are hoping to right the wrongs this afternoon. We can now hear from head coach Otuado.
Yeah, it's a different setup, different hurdles for this match. I think in this match we go as the favorites. Still, it won't be easy. Yeah, we prepared like 2 or 3 systems which will suit the game. But I think like if they come the way we expect, we have good chances to beat them. I think that the boys did well in the training. A lot of patterns look good, and yeah, we still have to be aware they have their qualities, and we have to be concentrated. But we're looking forward to this match, especially because we lost the first match. We now want a victory.
That's Black Stars head coach Otuado.
Thank you very much, Mubarak. Now, open defecation and dumping of garbage on a piece of land between the Independence Square and the SMJ Park continue unabated as authorities seem helpless in dealing with the situation. 1 week ago, Joy News reported the alarming situation as part of our Filth exhibition series. This is what Maxwell found.
The Independence Square, a reminder of Ghana's freedom from her colonial masters. Right beside it is the piece of land which also serves as a reminder to some unpatriotic citizens of their freedom. Freedom to openly defecate and dump their garbage.
Ghana, we now have freedom.
It seems the authorities have found the perfect spot for a sit-down protest against waste management. Or perhaps it is the city authorities' way of saying, Happy Independence Day. Enjoy the sights and smell.
And that's what Maxwell found last week. He returned to the area today and reports the practice has not stopped.
Why did you come here to defecate? Well, he says he had a running stomach and he had a tummy upset, and that's why he rushed here to come and defecate. But once the Independence Square, Independence Square is just about, the walls, just about 50 meters away from where we are standing.
Well, Maxwell joins us on the line as he confronted this particular man at the VIP defecation spot at the Independence Square area. Maxwell, you've been trying to reach authority, national security personnel, amongst others on this. What have they been telling you?
Well, I've been speaking to the MC, the Koliklote MC Samuel Ej Terrier. He tells me that they've started rolling out a lot of interventions to stop that open defecation practice. It says they are collaborating with the Ghana Tourism Authority to develop the area, but for the interim, they'll deploy their task force to assist the national security in preventing these unpatriotic citizens from having access to the place to dump their garbage and also openly defecate there.
And that's my colleague Maxwell Agbagba. Let's get into the election headquarters. And your election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and also by Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, SEMA, together as the Associations of International Certified Professional Accountant. And from Tamale, we've taken you to the Garden City today is the Ghana Connect, and my colleague Blessed Soga is leading this for us, joins us on the line. Blessed, what are we to expect?
We're expecting that those the Ashanti system and its environs would make their way to the Presbyterian complex, where we're expecting that people from all walks of life, and specifically those within the civil society organizations, would also join to augment what we're doing, manifesto influencing, trying as much as possible to get the buying of the electorate to influence the crafting of the various manifestos that the political parties will be putting up ahead of the 2024 general election. We started off in the northern region. We're giving the opportunity to those within the middle belt of the country to also hear from them and for them to directly interface with the political parties in a bid to help the parties appreciate the key concerns of the electorate going in.
And that's my colleague Blessed Sugan. They're giving us more from the Ghana Connect Town Hall happening later today at 3 p.m. on the Joy News channel on Joy 99.7 FM. Apologies, I'm not able to bring you the Agbaja report. I'll bring it to you subsequently. Time for MNJ, and Jackie is here. What's trending?
All right, Emefa. So Dumso is trending alongside the energy minister. Now, this comes after my colleague Nana Wache's question to him on whether, when people were asking for a load shedding timetable, where he says that there's no need for that. Netizens have been expressing their opinions on this. This user says that when a liar is telling lies, he forgets that his listeners have sense. And this one says that this no be Dumso, this be doom.
Jackie, let's get out of here. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Emefa Apawu. Have a good afternoon.